This time, I will explain the walking scenery of Shuri Castle in Okinawa Prefecture, Japan, and its history. Please take a look. The first gate you pass through at Shuri Castle is the Shuri Gate. This gate was built by the CC to welcome the book-sealed envoy, who received the imperial edict. The messenger who brought the certificate of approval of the next king of the Ryukyus, Seisei, by the Ming dynasty king is called a book-sealed envoy. CC was supposed to greet the messenger outside the national gate, and Shohashi thought that a new gate for greeting was necessary, so Chosen Gate was erected. The Chosen Gate does not exist today, but the existing Shuri Gate was built during the reign of the subsequent king, Shosei. The next thing that came into view was the Sanahaya-Nutaki Stone Gate. The Sanahaya-Nutaki Stone Gate was founded in 1519 by the third king of the second Sho dynasty, Shoshin. There was a place to pray behind this stone gate, and prayers were held for national festivals. The next thing that came into view was the National Gate of Shuri Castle, the Kankai Gate. In 1422, the Ryukyu Kingdom was established by the unification of the three mountains of Shohashi. The previous history is explained in Nakagusuku Castle, its history, so please take a look there as well. During the reign of the first Sho dynasty, the exterior wall named Ruden, which was landscaped by the minister Kaiki, can still be seen with a beautiful appearance. It is said that Kaiki went to Beijing after receiving an order from the king to do landscaping, and landscaping with reference to famous mountains in China. The first Sho dynasty that after the death of the king, Shohashi, all the kings were short-lived, so the battle for the throne intensified, and it developed into a power struggle by force. This conflict was called the Shiloh-Furi Rebellion, and Shuri Castle was burned in the fire, and both Shiloh and Furi, who were heirs to the throne, lost their lives. Therefore, Shotaikyu, the fifth son of Shohashi, who was serving as Kokuaji, inherited the throne. However, after Taikyu succeeded to the throne, a major incident occurred. It is called the Gosamaru Amawari Rebellion, and it is a battle between powerful Aji. According to the history books, Amawari, who was a Katsuran Aji, had ambitions to take the throne himself. Noticing this, Taikyu married his daughter, Momoto Fumiagari, to Amawari. He then placed the loyal warlord Gosamaru as the commander of Nakagusuku Castle from Zakami Castle to check Amawari. However, Amawari conspired against them and brought false information to the royal government that Gosamaru was plotting treason. Taikyu is suspicious of this information, but when he learns that Gosamaru is building a strong fortress, he orders Amawari to kill Gosamaru. When Gosamaru learned of the king's order, he killed himself without any resistance, even though he was armed to keep Amawari in check. Having thus eliminated those in his way, Amawari attempted to attack Shuri Castle as planned. However, his wife Momoto Fumiagari realized his plan, and he was defeated by the counterattack of the king's army. After the death of Shotaikyu, who pacified the Gosamaru Amawari rebellion, his third son, Prince Hachihen, took the throne and took the name Shotoku. According to the history books, Shotoku was a rare tyrant and continued to ignore the advice of his loyal vassals, including Kanemaru, who was entrusted with finances and diplomacy. It is recorded that he punished those who did not obey him and afflicted many innocent people. As a result, the country was greatly disturbed, and the young king died of illness in despair. After Shotoku's death, the royal officials reflected on their outrageous politics and took the position that the state belonged to the people. They then promoted Kanemaru, who had been oppressed by Shotoku, to become king, and Kanemaru ascended the throne and took the name Shoen. Later, his lineage was distinguished from the previous lineage and became the Second Sho dynasty. This Second Sho dynasty lasted from 1470 to 1879. The story changes, and from this gate onwards is the building that is undergoing restoration work. Shuri Castle's main shrine was destroyed by fire on October 31, 2019, shocking the people of Okinawa. Subsequently, the local government, aiming for restoration, solicited donations nationwide, and more than 6 billion yen was collected. By the way, I also donated, albeit a small amount. At the same time as this fundraiser, they solicited photos and videos of the past in order to make an accurate restoration. Then, the fact that pre-war photographs were included in the collected photographs developed into a big problem. It is a matter of the color of the wall and the question of which way to turn the face of the Great Dragon Pillar. As you can see in this photo, Shuri Castle is painted in vermilion in its entirety, and it was previously thought that this was the original form. However, among the photographs collected, there was a pre-war one, and the walls of Shuri Castle were black. Researchers are puzzled by this, and are torn between post-war or pre-war colors. And the other problem is which way to turn the face of the Great Dragon Pillar. As shown in this photo, when it was restored after the war, the faces were in the form of facing each other. Even in the pre-war photographs, the faces of the dragons were facing each other, but the question arose whether this shape was the correct one. Therefore, since the architectural style of Shuri Castle incorporates Chinese styles, researchers investigated the shape in the Chinese style. Then, in China, dragons were used in various places, and the direction of the face was also varied, so the researchers were surprised and could not identify the direction. As for the color of the walls and the orientation of the dragon's face, I feel that neither issue is easily conclusive. I would like to wait for the completion of the restoration work to see what conclusions the researchers will make. The restoration work is scheduled to be completed in the fall of 2026, and craftsmen are working hard every day. And excellent palace carpenters from all over the country gathered for this restoration and worked on the construction. Shuri Castle is sure to undergo a wonderful reconstruction. Back to the story, the Second Sho dynasty lasted until 1879, during which time he made various achievements. His achievements are recorded in the inscription on the balustrade built in 1509 under the title, Momorizo Renkin no Me. The sentence is in 11 items, and other inscriptions record the prohibition of martyrdom and the carrying out of large-scale civil engineering works. It was also during this period that many stone buildings were built, such as the Intamadan, which is a royal tomb. Tamadan is within walking distance of Shuri Castle, so why not go and see it once? Second Shou dynasty made great achievements, but it came to an end in 1879. The Second Shou dynasty established the Great Trade Era, but there were people who noticed its prosperity. It is the Shimazu domain of Japan. The Shimazu clan developed an ambition to monopolize the Ryukyu trade and expand its territory to the Southwest Islands. Around this time, Japan merchant ships began to frequently come to the Ryukyus as a stopover to Southeast Asia. The Shimazu clan also tried to put pressure on this trade and gain an advantage in trade with the Ryukyus. The Ryukyu dynasty resisted this pressure, but succumbed to the military pressure and obeyed the wishes of the Shimazu clan. Later, when Hideyoshi Toyotomi sent troops to Korea, Japan demanded rice for military service and a contribution to the construction of Nagoya Castle. However, at this time, the Ryukyu dynasty needed a large amount of money to receive an emissary from China at the time of the accession of King Shonei. The troubled royal government paid only half of the demands to Japan and the other half in the form of loans from the Shimazu clan. However, the Ryukyu royal government borrowed the contribution but did not repay it, so it was later used as an excuse for Satsuma's invasion of the Ryukyus. In the end, the Korean expedition ended with the death of Hideyoshi in 1598, but the national power of Japan, Korea, and Ming involved in this declined. In 1609, in order to solve the problem of financial difficulties, Shimazu sent an army to the Ryukyus with the permission of the shogunate. The Satsuma army, which was skilled in battle, attacked each island with furious momentum, and finally attacked Nakijin Castle in the northern part of Okinawa Island. This invasion threw the Ryukyus into chaos, and even Shuri Castle was captured. And the king of the time, Shone, was taken to Satsuma with his retinue. The Shimazu clan then gained control of the Ryukyus and incorporated the Amami Islands into their territory to achieve their original objectives. After Satsuma sent King Shone back to Ryukyu, he kept high-ranking officials and princes of the Ryukyu royal court in Kagoshima as hostages of the state. Satsuma had the Ryukyu royal government offer hostages and swear not to disobey Satsuma. This hostage lasted until 1647, after which alternative emissaries called Nentushi remained in Satsuma. In this way, Ryukyu was incorporated into the Edo shogunate as a kingdom, but after this, it changed from the old Ryukyu to the early modern Ryukyu. Ryukyu, which was incorporated into the Edo shogunate, later adopted modernization from Japan and developed great including culture. However, in December 1867, a major event occurred that cast a dark shadow over the Ryukyu dynasty. In Japan, a new government led by the emperor was established by the Great Decree of the Restoration of the Monarchy. Due to the abolition of the feudal domain at this time, Ryukyu became the jurisdiction of Kagoshima Prefecture. And the Ryukyu royal government received a report from an emissary from Kagoshima Prefecture that it would guarantee the kingdom system. However, the policy of the Meiji government was to dissolve the Ryukyu kingdom, which was ruled by the Shin dynasty, and make Ryukyu the territory of Japan. And an incident occurred in 1871 that served as an excuse to put that purpose into action. A Ryukyu ship was wrecked by a typhoon and washed ashore in Taiwan, but 54 of the 66 crew members of this ship were killed at the hands of Taiwanese people. In response to this incident, Japan protested to the Shin government, but the Shin government did not take any action because of the distant area. Therefore, the Japan government sent troops to Taiwan on the grounds of killing the people belonging to Japan. By adding the Ryukyuan people to the people belonging to this Japan nation, the Ryukyuan people were regarded as Japan. In 1875, in the wake of this incident, Japan the government notified the Ryukyu royal government that it would establish Okinawa Prefecture, which belonged to the Japan. At first there was a large opposition within the royal palace, but gradually they began to debate the pros and cons of the notice. In March 1879, the Japan government abandoned the establishment of a prefecture in consultation with the Ryukyu royal government. Japan government dispatches the military and police to notify the Ryukyu royal government of the establishment of Okinawa Prefecture. At the same time, the Japan government ordered King Shotai to live in Tokyo as a high-ranking citizen. Thus came the end of the second Sho dynasty and the Ryukyu dynasty, which lasted for 19 generations. During these transitional periods, vandalism is often committed. However, at this time, there was no armed conflict, so it is fortunate that no vandalism was carried out. In addition, combined with the culture in which Okinawans value local history, many cultural properties are still preserved. When traveling in Okinawa, let's respect these cultures and enjoy a trip that is unique to Okinawa. This was the last history of the Ryukyu dynasty. Thank you for your attention until the end. If you liked this video or were interested, please give it a high rating and subscribe to the channel. See you again.